Hi, and welcome to another episode of Nikki Free TV. I hope you guys are enjoying all of the things that I'm doing, and I hope you guys stay tuned because there's plenty more exciting information, news, and people to meet. One of the exciting people that I really want you guys to meet is here with me today. Beloved Jones. She's a spiritual advisor, she's a singer, she's a fashionista, she's a baker, she's all things Renaissance woman. And so I wanted to introduce you guys to this lovely lady today and talk more about her life. And today's episode is really about overcoming challenges and things that you never thought you would overcome. When I met this lady 2.5 years ago, she shared some information with me that I know that if I had gone through it, I probably would have not survived. But today, she is living proof of survival. You can survive anything if you put your mind to it and if you trust in God. And so today, I want to introduce you all to Beloved. Welcome to the show, Beloved.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. You know, you and I have, besides being entrepreneurs and women who are out in the community doing all types of things, you and I have a personal relationship.
We do.
You have ministered to me, you've ministered to me and my husband, and we just consider you a really good friend of the family. But there's so much more about you that I want to share with the world.
Oh, wow.
Because you don't know how much you and your story of survival has inspired me. I look at you every single day and say, wow, I know her story, I know her background, but I don't know that if I had gone through all of that, that I would be the thriving, striving, beautiful woman in spirit that you are.
Thank you.
So I want to talk a little bit today about your upbringing.
Okay.
You are from New York.
I am.
And you had kind of a traumatic childhood. Can you share a little bit about that with our viewers?
Well, thank you again. Let's start at the beginning. I was born in the old Harlem Hospital, grew up 135th and Lenox, and then after my mom and my dad separated, we moved to Westchester County, which is about 47 miles north of Harlem, and there began my abuse. I didn't even know that I wasn't being abused because it was so much a part of the fabric. It was my normalcy, exactly. But I discovered, I think at the age of 3, that I was being sexually abused. And so part of the ritual was for me every morning, my stepfather, everyone would be gone to work, my elder brothers and sisters and my mom. And so I commenced the sexual abuse, the oral sex, the teaching me how to do all kinds of sexual acts to him and with him, to the degree, and I know I don't want to get too gross, but to the degree that my hands would ache as a little girl from being with him, if you know what I mean. Forced to take showers with him. Later on, I found that my other siblings were being forced to participate in acts of sexual abuse as well. We would stand in lines and wait to take our turn behind the door. It's that kind of thing. I can remember very vividly, one day I was in the store and I was walking down the soap aisle and I had a panic attack. And all of a sudden I had a trigger of when I was forced to take showers with him and that kind of thing. And I was
Maybe a smell of
a smell.
soap
It was
or
the
something
smell of
triggered you.
ivory
Yeah.
soap.
Wow.
I remember distinctly. It was the smell of ivory soap that took me immediately back to Central Avenue in that closet bathroom with him, being forced to take showers with him and whatever else his mind could imagine for him to do with a 3-year-old.
And this was your stepfather. This was not your biological
This was
father.
not my biological father. My biological father never really knew what was going on, and the fear of my other siblings were, if daddy finds out, he's going to kill him, he's going to go to prison. But my thought was, well, what about us? In the interim, we're enduring all of this horrific, things. And it was so much more, the not just the sexual abuse, it was the emotional abuse. Where imagine on a Sunday afternoon, you're in your bedroom playing with your dolls, and somebody is peering around the corner, and they jump in the room and start cursing you out. You black such and such, I'm going to set you on fire. And he would literally stand in the doorway and drop matches, light matches, and drop them one by one. That was our Sunday afternoon. and tell us that he was going to set us on fire and that no one was going to save us. That, I mean, being woke out of your sleep to be molested, just
I cannot even imagine. And I thank God every day for my upbringing with parents who were overprotective sometimes. But I can't even imagine the trauma that you went through as a 3-year-old. And you said your abuse went on from 3 to 9 years old. And how was your mother? Did you all ever share this with your mom, or what was her?
Well, one of the things in retrospect, I think that I used to know that every Saturday, from Saturday to Sunday, Friday to Sunday, there was always fighting. If we left and came back, there was the police at our apartment. Now, I don't know everything that was going on at that time, but I found out many years later from a dear friend. You met her, Miss Ann, when she got the award at the conference. Very nice lady who lived on the first floor of our apartment building that my mom always knew. And I think that's the thing that really hurt me, that my mom, we were the sacrificial lambs. And not only that, I was her baby. I was her youngest child at the time. And you allowed this person to violate me. And then you grew to hate me. And we became, our relationship became very physically abusive. My mother could become very, very violent. I don't know if I am able to share this part, but when my sister moved from Georgia, she came to live with us as a teenager, my mom's oldest child. One day we were in the apartment and we're talking about female stuff. And me with my big mouth, that's what I was called, big mouth, say, well, you know why we can't do that, because Pete is doing such and such a thing. My mother lost her mind. She began chasing me around the apartment. I mean, with a vengeance. Her veins were protruding out of her neck. She backed me into that same shower room, put her knee in my throat with all of her weight on my body, and began to choke the life out of me. She picked up a hammer and proceeded to wanted to beat me in the head, and my sister grabbed the hammer and took it out of my mother's hand.
Oh, wow.
I had whelps on my neck all over. I was beat all the time. I was consistently beat. So I am a miracle.
Yeah, you are. You are. I cannot imagine. So do you still have a relationship with your siblings?
No, not really. We don't. And it's not because I haven't tried. I think we remind each other of the pain. My other siblings, my brother, my sister, who was, immersed in all of that, they've suffered with, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic. Yes, absolutely. Attempted suicide, things like that. And so I've tried to reach out, but it was almost crazy or ironic that when I came around, because my suggestion was, we all need to go to counseling. Why don't we all go to counseling and get healed? And they were like, no. And I became the black sheep.
And some people don't ever want to really face the issues that they've been dealing with. And that's unfortunate. But there are some issues in my life. Of course, I haven't been, thank God, I haven't been physically abused or anything of that nature. But there are some family relationships in my life that I need to work beyond. But I'm just sitting back and praying to God that those relationships come full circle again. But beyond that, you went through, and I appreciate you sharing your story, and I love that you're very open about your story. One thing that we find in the African American community a lot of times, too much, is that we are too silent about the things that happen to us. And a lot of times we're encouraged through church, through the community, through our schools, through our neighbors who we look up to not talk about these things. So I really appreciate you being so open about it and showing that you can overcome such hardships and tragedy. And what I mean by that, guys, is you heard her story firsthand, all of the things that she endured as a child. But as an adult, you are doing it up, honey. You are hosting conferences, empowerment conferences. You are traveling the country with Ashley Stewart as a vendor. And because you know, I'm all about fashion here on Nikki
Of
Freestyle.
course, of
I
course.
love the partnership that you've built.
I am
love the
so
partnership that you've built
excited about that
with
because
Ashley Stewart.
Ashley Stewart, of course, as you know, is a plus size store for women, urban women. They started out in Brooklyn, and being a part of that whole process, and they're one of Beloved Sweet sponsors. I'm so excited about that.
So tell us about Beloved Sweets. Let's talk about Beloved Sweets. Now listen, I am not a sweet potato pie girl at all. Listen, take my black card. Y'all can have it on the sweet potato side. But I'm blackety black. Y'all know that if you follow me, you already know. But I'm not a sweet potato pie girl. I can eat yams. I don't mind sweet potato casserole. But there's something about pie, sweet potato pie, that I don't like. And I would say my mom makes a mean sweet potato pie. So everybody says. But I've tasted yours because I was forced to taste it. And my God, you need to be selling these internationally.
Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about Beloved Pies and how you came up with this concept.
So interesting enough, my mom was a great sweet potato pie maker. You know, that relationship, you know, is what it was. And later on, I just wanted to bake. I wanted to do something different. Used to date this guy. You know, men are always a part of our story. And I would cook for him, and he would say, "Girl, you know you can cook. Why are you not making the pies anymore?" After our relationship kind of resolved, and we went our separate ways. And I was on the set of NBC Good Girls after being a hospice chaplain for many years. And the medic said, "Do you do anything else, beloved?" I said, "I bake pies." He said, "You can't bake." I said, "Yes, I can." He said, "Bring us some. You know, bring some to the set." Brought some to the set, honey. And as the story goes, the rest was history. Crafty. I got contracts with Crafty and catering, and the crew of NBC Good Girls went ballistic. I mean, they were like, "Oh my God."
And that is awesome. So was that your first, I guess, foray into a corporate way of sharing your pies on the set of Good Girls? Look at this. She's not only baking pies and traveling the country with Ashley Stewart, she's doing craft services on movie sets as well as acting. We haven't even talked about that. She's been in a couple of television shows and movies that are taped here in Hollywood of the East, right? Or Hollywood of the South is what they call Atlanta now.
Yes, there you go.
And when I tell you guys, there's so much entertainment business going on here, from television shows to movie productions to music videos.
Absolutely.
There is so much happening in the entertainment industry here in Atlanta.
It is. And so from there, you know, my daughter came home. She's from school, and she was like, "Mom."
Her daughter went to Savannah State, and y'all know me, HBCUs. I'm always supporting HBCUs. I'm a FAMU grad. Her daughter, Sarah, beautiful girl. You did a fantastic job with Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
And I listen, I don't mind doing shameless plugs when it comes to HBCUs. So Sarah is a recent graduate of Savannah State. And didn't she pledge?
She is an AKA.
Yeah.
She's a chief justice. She was chief justice there. She was also a student, and she was also student government president. And I went to the fabulous, famous I'm a Falcon, St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, North Carolina. Don't sleep on the Falcons, okay? HBCU in the house. That's it.
We always
got
to
to
plug our HBCU.
always.
And let me just say this. If you guys haven't watched Homecoming by Beyonce on Netflix, you're missing out. It will do what School Days and What a Different World did for us that grew up in the 80s and 90s for our children now. Gotta see it. So we're starting with the pies, and we're baking these pies. I did a little bit during the campaign in Douglasville, the first black mayor. I was her assistant, Mayor Rochelle Robinson. And so we gave out some pies and sold pies there, took a furlough, came back, and then we took off. We just started selling pies, and we started doing barbershop and salon tours and all these other tours and all of this creativity. So now we are the #1 best-selling mini sweet potato pie in the country. Right.
Beloved Sweets. This is not Patty Pie, boo. This is Beloved.
How she go trip on suspect?
I love Patty.
I love Patty. I don't necessarily love her
pies. Praise the Lord. Amen. And so we just commence to just taking every opportunity. One of my mantras is every opportunity is an opportunity. And we're creative energy. We're the image and the likeness of God. When we begin to open ourselves up and expand and create partnerships and relationships, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
And so we're going all over the Southeast selling pies. We've been throughout all the stores in Georgia.
That's so awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about that. So if you are having an event or you are part of an event that Ashley
Yes.
Stewart is having, how do I know? How do we find out so we can come support
Oh,
at an
absolutely.
Ashley Stewart?
Excellent, excellent. Follow us on Instagram at belovedsweets _ BELOVEDS.
And we're going to put that down low.
SWEETS_. A lot of them will post. Beloved will be at the store.
Okay.
We're going to be featured on by Ashley Stewart's TV soon, and we're just excited. We just came back from Birmingham, Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Horn Lake, Mississippi. We're going to be in Mungo. We're going to be in your hometown next week.
Orlando, you guys go check out Beloved Sweets. It's that Ashley Stewart's the only one we have in Orlando, on West Colonial in Hiawassee, in that shopping plaza where Red Lobster is, where the old Ale House was, where Chili's is, where the Burlington Coat Factory, I think they're called Burlington now. You guys know where it is. It's the only Ashley Stewart in Atlanta at the corner of West Colonial and Hiawassee.
Ashley Stewart has given me this wonderful opportunity, so I want to give a shout out to Michael Sanders, who's the DM of Georgia and the Southern Eastern region, and James Reed, who is the CEO. But I want to say that my pies are truly baked with love. The expression and the reaction from the pies always knock me off my feet. We have now over 700 videos of people throughout the country who have authentically tasted the pie without a script, just on the spot. How do you feel about the pie? How do you feel about the cookie?
Right.
So we also have cookies.
Okay, tell me about
We have 3 cookies: peanut butter butterscotch cookies, sweet potato pecan orange glaze cookie, and our new cookie, the macadamia pecan banana bread bar cookie.
Listen, I ran out and she was sitting here with the videographer, and apparently they've partaken in some treats that I didn't even get.
She didn't get any.
I didn't even get any, so you definitely have to bring
Absolutely.
some for
So
me.
that's the other aspect of it. We make 5 flavors of sweet potato pie. So we
What are
blend
the flavors?
vegan. We've launched into the vegan community. Original, pineapple, pecan, and rum sweet potato pie.
Oh my goodness, we have got to try some of those pies, and I wish you had brought some with you today so we could try them and show everybody how they are. But I have already tried your
And
pies,
your husband
and
Russell
my husband loves her pies. I remember one day I came home from a trip, and he said, "Oh, I'm waiting on Beloved to come over here." I said, "What for what?" And he was like, "Oh, I ordered some pies from her. She's bringing the pies over." So the fact that my husband took it upon himself to contact you means those pies are good, and he loves a good sweet potato pie. So I really appreciate that. So tell us a little bit about your spiritual mentoring, because you do that.
I do
You
that.
are very spiritual, and she has a gift. She's told me some things about me that had me bawling like a baby because it was things that nobody else ever knew. So she has a gift, and it's not frightening. Some people are like, "Oh, I don't open up myself to all of this psychic stuff," and it's not that. It's not that by any stretch of the imagination. I was resistant to you when I initially met you 2.5 years ago. It's like, don't come over here with all of that. One of our mutual friends, one of my best friends, Nicole Jones, had introduced us, and she had shared a lot about you with her core group of friends before. And we were all, "Child, Nicole, ain't nobody saying." Nicole grew up in the church. So she recognizes that, and she's very in tune and in touch with God.
Indeed.
And she shared that with us. And actually, the night I met you was the night of October. I'm not going to give the date, but it was in October 2016. And it was that Friday night that the Access Hollywood tape came out for the nut that we have in the White House right now. And we all talked about that. And you told us, you said, he's gonna win. This is what she said that night. It was about 10 or 15 ladies in the house, and we're all staunch Democrats, and we all believed that this tape would sink his candidacy. And you said to all of us, oh, he's going to win. Y'all might as well stop. This is nothing. And you said he is going to attack the media and change the way many of us view the media. You told us that. You told us so many things that have come to pass that I'm just waiting for you to tell me when he's going to leave.
Oh, things get, we won't get into that right now. But yes, I do. I remember that night. Nicole has been very instrumental in a lot of things. Thank God for Nicole, sweetheart, our mutual friend, love her, sweetheart. Spirituality. It's interesting. As a little girl, even when all of those things were going on in my life, was very, very spiritual. It frightened my mother and my stepfather because I would tell them things. I would tell my mother, he's doing such and such and such and such a thing. And so I became stupid, ugly, and crazy. And so that was the way to keep me silent.
Right.
But when, truth always has a way of rising to the top. So I began going to church. That same sister that came from Georgia would walk me all the way across town to go to church. And then Miss Sarah Warren, she became my mentor. Grew up in church. Loved God, but I always was different. I always knew there was something different for me and about me in my relationship with God. Because a lot of people that go to church go because they were brought to church, because their parents were spiritual, their father was a pastor. Not me. We grew up in a heathen hell house. I found God on my own. The only thing my mother gave me was the Lord's Prayer. She taught me how the Lord's Prayer, but from there, it was just God visiting me and speaking to me and being very keen to the sound and the vibration of Holy Spirit. And I think that's where we miss it. We feel like we have to be in a particular place to be in relationship with God. We have to be open. Right. Open.
Well, what do you say to people who don't understand that, who think that because their parents took them to church or forced them to go to church? So many African Americans were forced to go to church as children. Not that it was something that we fought. We just knew that was something that was a part of our week.
Of course.
You were going to go to church on Sunday. And many of us said, when I get old enough that I ain't got to go to church, I ain't going to church because this is too much. How do you minister to those people who don't necessarily want to go back to church because they remember being forced to go as children, but they want to have that close relationship with God, and all they know is to have that relationship is you have to do this ritual of going to church on Sunday and going to Bible study on Tuesday or Wednesday. Right. So how do you mentor to people to get closer to God without all of that?
I would say that first of all, I'm not downing the church. The church has its place, and it's necessary, it's needful, and I'm thankful for church. But I would say, just like people say, well, how are you prophetic? How do you see these things? I seek to know God. I kid you not, Nick. Before I put on something in the morning, I said, well, Holy Spirit, is this what I'm supposed to wear?
Wow.
You
just talk to him like he's a regular person every day in house.
Because he really isn't. She really is. He really is.
It really is.
I mean, it is what it is. And I have developed this constant, I needed God. Some people don't need God. They grew up in money. They grew up in wealth. They grew up with loving parents. So they're like, God is like secondary. Even in all of my abuse, I asked God, why did this happen to me? He said, parents are stewards. They made a decision to do these things. That was not my choice for you. And so everybody has to take their responsibility and accountability with their relationship with God. So I would say to that person, seek God. Seek to know God. Seek to talk to God about minuscule things. Don't wait for the grandiose tragedies and crises in life. Lord, well, how do you feel about this?
Right. Well, and that is so powerful, because I would say my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, well, all my grandmothers, my maternal grandmother, my great grandparents, grandmothers, they were all very spiritual and very church-going women. But one thing that my maternal grandmother taught me, and my mom has 7 sisters, so it's 8 girls and it's 5 grandchildren. And one of the things that she taught all of us was, I don't care where you are and what you're doing, always invite Jesus along.
Always.
And I know sometimes I get in my car and I will say, Jesus, especially if I'm traveling, if I'm driving from, let's say Atlanta to Tallahassee for business or Atlanta to Orlando for business and I didn't fly, I strap on my seatbelt and as I'm clicking it, I say, Jesus, your seatbelt is here. You are the captain of this vessel. You are riding with me. Cover me in the blood of Jesus. Wrap your arms around this car, Lord,
Exactly.
and get me to where I'm going. So my grandmother instilled that in me. I do feel guilty though because some Sundays I miss church and I know if I tell her she's gonna,
Right.
but she has instilled a foundation in me to connect with God on every level.
Jehovah Shammah is God is present. God is present with us now. The presence of God can be felt. You just have to be vulnerable and be willing to hear the sound of God. I was in Birmingham recently doing the tour with the Pies, of course, and a gentleman started talking to me about marriage. You know, he was sharing his testimony, and he said, I said, well, I'm waiting on God. He said, what did God promise? Now, this is somebody I never met. When he said those words, they resonated with my spirit. See, we have to be able to discern the voice of God, just like we discern, is this vodka or water?
Right.
You are same color,
Right.
same texture, but there is something distinct and different about the voice of God that only God, because we're made in God's image and likeness, can feel and touch in us. You know when God is speaking.
Absolutely.
And when it's just somebody just giving you a bunch of malarkey,
Yes.
or somebody preaching just to
Yes.
get an applause.
Yes.
You know, now that was a word.
And I know that God, in many instances, will shake up your life a little bit to get your attention.
Yep.
And that happened to me many years ago when I was in a position where the company I was working for was about to downsize and outsource my entire department.
Yeah.
And they weren't
remember you shared
they weren't
about
getting
that.
rid of me, but they were getting rid of my department, which was my identity, right? My
Right.
public
Of
affairs
course,
and
of course.
PR and communications department. And I felt really low about them getting rid of my department because that meant a lot of my team would be gone.
Yeah.
And but the money was so good. I did not want to walk away from that money, but I knew that I needed to walk away from the situation just for me. And God shook it up because I was going to stay. I was going to stay, and God shook it up because the day that I decided that I was going to stay, I was told, well, you're going to lose a big amount of money because this position that we're moving you to pays a lot less than what you're. But what God showed me was that, okay, I'm telling you to get out of here and you're staying because you're beholden to this paycheck.
Absolutely.
But that day I went back, God revealed to me, listen, I'm serious. You need to go. And you know what happened? I left, but there was a clause in my service agreement that allowed me to continue to get my entire salary. And so if you don't listen to the word of God, you will miss out. But when you listen and you yield to him, things always work out for the better. And that's something that I know for sure.
Yeah, and that comes from cultivating and knowing. Part of your history, part of your maternal grandmothers, they instilled in you an awareness. Like my children, there's an awareness in them. The year that Sarah, right before she graduated, before she went back to school, I said to her, Sarah, when you're going to be at school, and if you come to this place of, I need to move right now, listen to the voice of God. She was like, okay. She went on back to Savannah State. That October, a young man came on the campus. She was in the student union and was talking to her. And she said, Mama, I'm not really abrupt or rude. She said, but I looked at him and I said, I have to go now. Within 10 minutes of her turning and leaving that facility, they shot the boy and killed him right where she was standing.
Oh, my
There is that kind of awareness that I've instilled in my children because, again, I needed God. I was this little broken brown girl, not the most attractive girl on the block. I wasn't light-skinned with the long hair like I wanted with all my friends and peers. I needed to know God. And so through that experience, I began to cultivate. Talk to me. I need to be protected. Talk to me. Come on, ride with me. Speak to me. I want to know. I have a passion for you. And then it developed into being prophetic and being a minister. But I got saved for my own benefit, for my own salvation. And so I would say to you and anyone else who's seeking a relationship with God, seek God. Seek him. He's speaking. God is real. He's speaking. He's relevant. And I love it because when I go out with my pies, we don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just love because obviously I'm a fashion influencer and I talk about fashion a lot. And one of the reasons I'm doing this show, just so you guys understand, one of the reasons that I'm doing Nikki Free TV is because I used to be a news reporter and I miss it.
Yes.
So now that I have the resources to have a team and I've met so many wonderful people that I want everybody else to know.
Absolutely.
This is why I'm doing this. However, you and I also connected through fashion.
Yes, we did.
And so because I'm a fashion blogger, let's talk a little bit about fashion and fashion influence. And we started there with your relationship with Ashley Stewart. But tell me about how fashion defines you, or how you find pieces of clothing that you think add to the brand that is beloved, and beloved pies or beloved sweets.
It's interesting that you would say that because my mom was a professional seamstress. Very, gorgeous. When I tell you a beautiful woman, she would sew clothes in the morning, the night before.
No longer with us?
She hasn't transitioned, but she's suffered several strokes, so she's been in a nursing home for a while. Her aunt before her was a professional seamstress. So that kind of thing ran in our family, very entrepreneurish. I found all of this about my family. I was like, wow, no wonder I'm in this vein.
Yeah.
And my dad was sharp every day. Oh, my dad wore a suit and tie every single day. And he put his uniform in a briefcase, rode down to 42nd Street, to West 45th Street, and went to work as a security guard. But nobody knew what he did because when he left the house, he was sharp as a tack, immaculate. And so I grew to accustomed to looking good is important. So when people come to see me and I'm in this dress, they're like, wow, baby, this is gourmet pie. Presentation is everything.
Right.
How you look speaks long before I hear your voice.
Absolutely.
Long before I say, I'm beloved.
Preach.
Come on now. So how you look is important. People gravitate just to simply because I'm cute.
Right.
Oh, that's a nice dress she has on. And it's true. It's the truth. And so, in fact, I needed you, and Nicole connected me. I was going to speak somewhere out in North Carolina, in Fayetteville. I was going to speak there, and I said, I need some dresses. And I told Nicole, I said, here we go again. I said, God said, you know what I'm supposed to do. She said, I do. It's Nikki.
And she picked up the phone and she called me.
Yes. And so it's you see the full circle, the full circle of hearing from God, who you need in your circle, how they can help make you a better person. How do you build partnership? Being attractive is important to me because I never looked at myself as being attractive.
Absolutely.
And so to see myself now is pretty, and people say, girl, you're pretty, you look good. And I know a part of that is my awareness, being groomed, having people like you to speak in my life. Beloved, don't wear that, wear this color. Don't wear that bra, wear this bra. This is the undergarments that you need to purchase. All of those things make the complete package.
And especially because women of a certain age like us, we're over 40.
Right.
Women of a certain age like us, we kind of still have that mindset of our parents back in the day. You've got to look presentable, you got to look the part, everything has got to be smooth and everything. But we also have this kind of renegade, I want to wear what I want to wear, how I want to wear it. I'm not beholden to these antiquated fashion rules that say a woman over 40 can't wear cutoff shorts, or she can't wear one shoulder top, or she can't show a midriff, or her wear a crop top. I don't ascribe to any of those antiquated rules, right? And I think a lot of times people don't think I'm my age because of that.
Yeah.
But I try to impart in the youth, and there's this whole body positivity, and you can't tell people what to wear, and you ought to accept people for who they are, and I do. But in the fashion industry, there is a certain look, how they want the clothes to look on you, how they want the clothes to drape over you. And so with that comes the appropriate shapewear, becomes things that are good. Accentuate what you already have.
Absolutely.
I have a stomach, I have hips, but Spanx ain't gonna make that go away. But you know what Spanx are gonna do? They're gonna smooth it out. They're gonna keep that jiggle on a minimum, right? And so that's what I try to impart to a lot of young people, that it's not necessarily about what you have on, but I will tell you, if you don't look presentable to the people that you're trying to impress, you're not going to get that job. You're not going to get that contact information. You're not going to get that relationship. And That's it. You can wear what you want to wear. It's like freedom of speech, right?
Oh yeah, you can say what you want to say.
What you want to say don't mean you're free from consequences.
Exactly.
Right?
And so everything has an ends to a means. And I want to look good. I want people to be drawn to me because, first of all, I am a nice person. I'm a pretty cool person.
And you're a beautiful person.
And thank you very much. And but I like looking good. It changes your posture when you look good. How you walk into the room and you become a magnet.
Absolutely.
You become a magnet of beauty, of excellence,
and my husband has said, there is one thing Russell has said to me from the 12, 13 years that from the first day that we met, of these 12 or 13 years that we've been together. And he said, I don't care what size you are. I don't care how you look, if your hair is straight, curly, or kinky. I don't care. If you walk in a room, if a woman walks in a room with wearing nothing but confidence, every man in that room will notice her.
Absolutely.
And
I have so many young guys trying to talk to me. They be like, oh, never forget one day me and Sarah was going to church. Speaking of church, we were going to church, coming across the street, and the guys were parked there. And I was like, stop looking at my daughter. He's like, I ain't looking at your daughter. I was like, well, okay then. But it does. It says something about, yes, when you exude confidence, when you smell good, when your clothes are pressed.
When you feel good, you look good.
You do.
Period.
It makes a difference. It does. And I'm so thankful because I'm forever posted. Let Nick style you thick.
Let Nick style you thick. That's the tagline you have given me
Yes,
for
I
almost a year.
That's right.
As I kind of start venturing into my styling business. That is the tagline you've given me for over a year. Let Nick style you thick.
Let Nick style you thick because she'll do you right, baby. She going to do you right.
Well, I just want to say I am so thankful and grateful for you as a friend.
Yes.
And also for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and be a part of Nikki Free TV. I really believe that you are somebody who God sent into my life. I know that I can call you. Sometimes this woman just sends me text messages. Sometimes I'm traveling and she'll tell me exactly what I was doing or exactly what I was thinking about. And it does not freak me out. It doesn't make me feel weird or scared or run from it because I know you. And I know that you have a connection to the Almighty.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that you share His word, and I so appreciate it. And I wanted to take the opportunity to share with my viewers who you are, that you've overcome all kinds of challenges. And what we didn't talk, I'm ending the show. We didn't talk about all these movie sets and television shows.
Yeah,
Just really quickly, let's talk about that.
Homicide, Fatal Attraction, Acronomy. I've been in all of these and a plethora of other different shows. So yes, I'm an actress.
She's an actress. She's an entrepreneur. She's a baker. She's a singer. She's a mother. She's an author. She does spoken word. You do it all. Yes. Guys, go back to, I think it was in October or November. I posted a video here on my YouTube channel from my birthday party. I had a African theme, kind of welcome to Waklanta, Wakanda in Atlanta, kind of play on words. I had a birthday party and you sang there. You did some spoken word and you sang, and it's all caught on video. So go back to that. Yeah. But what I want you to do to close the show, I want you to show our audience how beautiful your voice is. So take us out with something beautiful and something inspiring.
Wow. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. You gonna join me? Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday, we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday, when the world's much brighter. Someday, we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday, when the world's much brighter. Woo!
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.